close that one out and go to the new one. Oh yeah. You know what though? My oldest boy, same exact way with his little brother. I made him do that to him though. I was like, you better make this little joker tough. And to this day, he still do it. And the young one can't stand him. They always fight. Can't stand it. DeMarcus, I think your wife is trying to say something. Yes, ma'am. This Q&A, so it don't really matter. Man, she ain't got no question. We finna shut down. Hey, you know what? I was dealing with this dude about them birthdays. And he called me. He sent me a video, but wasn't. I told him, I was like, dude, you grab two events in the Bible pertaining to Pharaoh and Herod, and then you got two books on, talking about birthdays, and like you didn't really prove your case out the Bible. You know what I mean? But you know what I saw this morning when I was reading it? Let's go to let's go to Genesis. Look at what Abraham did for Isaac. And I'm not saying that, this was a birthday that he threw for Isaac, but look at what he did. He didn't. It wasn't sin. It wasn't sin. Is because of the fact that, it was just an occasion that he was doing for his son. But, huh? You said he was doing it for his day. Well, that's in other places. But look at this though, right here though. I think that was in Genesis 21. That his day, like, and his day is in Job, and it's in Job. Yeah, both places, Job 3 and Job chapter 1. But to just say that, you dealing with paganism because you celebrating birthdays. I ain't celebrating no birthday to that level. But look at this though. Genesis 21, read verse 8. Look at what God look at what Abraham did for Isaac. Go ahead.
Somebody Genesis 21 and 8, right?
Yeah.
And the child grew and was weaned.
What Abraham did for
and
Isaac.
Abraham made a great feast. Yeah, the same day that Isaac was weaned.
So the same day he was weaned, because that breastfeeding, it was big back then. You know what I mean? Like they cold-heartedly believed in that. It wasn't know what we got today, formula and all that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah.
That's what was, the norm.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a child kind of weaned, and that's kind of crazy because, the child kind of weaned, I thought I was doing something a year, but shoot, what I did when I was a little boy, that was biblical because I ain't weaned off until I was 5 years old.
Right.
Like I'm walking around with a full mouth of teeth, can talk, say complete sentences, and walk up to my mama when she's sitting down, and she get comfortable because she know what I'm coming for. And she lay on back, and I just pop out, and I'm sitting there feed. Wow. So like, but that was the case.
Right.
Like when you look at it, they wean like at the age of 3. They was weaning from the breast milk at the age of 3. Sometimes 4.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the norm. But even in this case right here, Abraham threw a feast.
He said a feast.
He threw a feast because what? His son had weaned. He threw him a feast that very same day. So, I ain't saying that this a birthday, but I mean, what? He was a young boy.
And he said a great feast, not just a feast, a great feast.
A great feast.
Yeah, they got down.
So like, I sent that brother this too, man.
Right.
And, he ain't really reply, but, it's just sometimes, man, we become radical, man.
Yeah, you right, too radical.
He one of them that don't believe that Israel, he the one that don't believe that Gentiles is the New Testament.
Okay.
Yeah. We got into that conversation.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I'm like, all right, bro. So, but anyhow, man, you ain't got nothing, y'all? Huh? Oh, that's cool. We better close up the shop. That's what we better do. We ain't got nothing on Facebook. Unless Vince come up with something.
No, I'm good.
I just started a watch party real quick, so let me see if anybody, I give somebody 5 minutes. I give them the 7:15. If you ain't got a question, you ain't got to, Right. Where's Zion at? Just being him. Okay. I'll try. Matthew 20.
Yes, sir.
Yes. What is it in? It's in like 6 and all that?
Yes, and we can read basically all the way up to 16 if you want, because that's where I'm really going, pretty much. Matthew 20, we can read all the way up to 16.
Well, let's start at 1 then.
Y'all got it? Matthew 20.
Go ahead.
For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard.
So we talking about the kingdom of heaven. Now keep that in mind. God always, making parables pertaining to the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what he used. Sometimes he used agricultural. Sometimes he used women. Sometimes he used, on men. But we see is that what it says early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard. Go ahead.
And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
And he went out about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace.
Go ahead.
And said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. And they went their way. And he went out about the 6th and 9th hour and did likewise.
Mm-hmm.
And about the 11th hour he went out and found others standing idle, and said unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle?
Go ahead.
They say unto him, because no man hath hired us. He said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive.
Keep reading.
So when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his steward,
that's what happened when you sit your little behind still. Keep going. Go ahead.
call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny.
Mm-hmm.
But when the first came, they supposed that they should have.
Hold on, where you at?
I'm verse 9.
Okay, go ahead.
And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And then when they had received it, they murmured against the goodman of the house,
Go ahead.
saying, these lads have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day.
Mm-hmm.
But he answered on one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny?
Didn't you agree? You know, you agree, but look at what he likened it to. We talking about the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, that's why Jesus said, hey, man, John the Baptist is considered one of the greatest prophets, right?
Yep.
But even if you make it into the kingdom, you greater than John the Baptist.
Right.
So it's kind of like, you know, hey, we both doing the same thing. What reward we going to get? The same reward.
Lord.
You know, you going to get everlasting life. I'm going to get everlasting life.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case right here, dude felt like he should have got something more because he worked longer.
Right.
Nah, that's what you agreed to.
Yeah.
You agreed to the penny. That's what we're going to go with. But it's just liking it to how the kingdom of heaven is.
Right.
How when everybody get into the kingdom, what? You ain't going to be no greater than me.
Right.
I ain't going to be no greater than you. We're going to both receive the same reward.
Absolutely.
That's it. So, you know, that's kind of what it's getting at. But keep going, though. Keep reading.
Take that thine is and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as I unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine evil because I am good? Is thine eye evil because I am good?
I was good. Like I asked you, was these, you know, your wages? That's what you went with. So I gave you what you went with. You know, that's the same situation I had, right? And I had to get some counseling on it. But I was helping a brother in Atlanta move his stuff from Illinois, right? And he bought me in on it, meaning like he asked me to give him a quote. I gave him a quote, and he said, okay, I'll be willing to pay you that. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, the time he trying to do it, he kind of elderly, you know, so I wasn't expecting him to move like I was going to be moving.
Right.
So he wanted to be done in 2 days or less than 2 days. By myself, with all that stuff, I probably couldn't do it in 2 days because he wasn't going to be moving like me. So I needed somebody who was almost somewhat equal. Right. So I got another brother to roll me up there, and I said, hey, this is what I'm going to pay you. I ain't have to split him down the middle of what I'm getting. Right. Nah, I mean, you know, the offer was bought to me. I'm being genuine to just give you a piece of the offer, not half of it. Right. He agreed. Now it stretched. If it had a stretch longer than 2 days, hey, bro, that's what you agreed to. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So you can't back out and be like, man, I want more because it stretched out longer. Nah, bro, that's what you agreed to. Right, absolutely. You know what I mean? Absolutely. So even in this case right here, this is why Jesus said what he said, what, in verse 16. You know, he said, I'm 15, he said, is it not lawful for me to do what I will with my own? Is thy eye evil because I am good? Because what? Hey, he said in 13, but he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. I ain't do you no wrong. Does not thou agree with me for a penny? So you agree with me for a penny. What it say in 16?
This is the one this is the verse I want right here.
Go ahead.
So the last shall be first, and the first last.
Go ahead.
For many be called, but few chosen.
So the last gonna be first.
That's the verse I'm looking for right there. Right. Elaborate on that right there.
Okay. Let's go over here to Let's go over here to. That's just like right now. We consider to be last. You know what I mean? We consider to be last in this case is because of the fact that, we're not subject to the ways of the world. So check this out. Hold on. I forget where it's at. It's in another place. Nobody don't like what is it? Nobody don't like a person. What's the statement? Everybody like a dang on. It's quoted in the Bible too. Everybody like a winner. Nobody don't like to be second place or something like that.
You see it up further in the chapter. Like it says, but the chapter before, for many that are last, first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
So that's it.
Yeah.
That's I mean
that's in a nutshell, ain't it?
That's,
so you saying that the ones that come into the word last would be first? What does I mean exactly? What does that mean? You know what I mean?
Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
It says somewhere else.
Right.
And it's real clear too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, you know what? Bam. I just got it. Let's go to James real quick. But before we go to James, let's see something over here in Mark. Let's see what it's saying, Mark. Mark 31. But many that are first shall be last, and the last first. Man, it's cause I don't know if I want to use that in James though.
I've always thought about that. What exactly? You know what I mean? I try to figure out in my mind, like, okay, I mean, the ones coming last, I mean, come to the word last. It don't matter whether he come first or last or later. Or,
nah, that ain't what it is.
I know, but I was just saying it in my mind. I was trying to figure it out. That's why I want some, clarity.
Mm-hmm. Cause just think about it. You know, let's just. Is this it in James? I mean, it's really just talking about
laborers. I know it said about the vineyard. I knew to understand the parable, but I mean, when I got that part, I'm like, okay.
It's really just talking about how I can't think of the saying. The first, the last is always first, and the first last. Cause it's kind of like, let's go over here to James. Let's look at it over here in James.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to use this or not. I'm gonna look at it though.
Right.
Cause it's kind of like, it's kind of like the one who always receive the prize. They always win, or they always come in first place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the one that's always in first place, he gonna be the one second.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that's in second place, he always gonna be the one in the one in first place. Let me look at this James real quick. And it's real simple. I just can't articulate it. I can't break down the simplicity in it. But it ain't that difficult though. It's just saying exactly what it is.
Right.
Hey, the one that's in dead last is gonna be first, and the one that's in first is gonna be dead last. Yeah. I got it now. Paul said something about it.
Am I run for the prize?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't think. Mm-hmm.
And that few are called. I mean, many are called, few are chosen. That when I look at that, let's go back and look at it again. That's like separate.
Mm-hmm.
That's like something else. That's like, the saying, hey, many are called to deal with the word, but few don't come to actually deal with it.
Yeah, well, few, be the one that's been chosen, the one that accepted it and start walking in it, right?
But even not just the ones that's accepted, like many have been called.
Right.
Meaning like you go out, like the dude you was talking to last night.
Right.
They've been called.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like you showing them the dietary law. Whether we sitting here, doing what we doing, and you whatever. Right. So you just got the gospel.
Absolutely.
I wasn't lying to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in that case, you've been called. Because you got the truth.
Right.
But then it says, many are called, but few are chosen. Because they don't want to choose that path.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like they don't want to make that move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They content with, man, it tastes so good.
Yeah.
God really ain't that complicated.
Right.
You know what I mean? They try to justify in their mind all the wrong they doing to try and make it right.
I got you.
But look at this 1 Corinthians chapter 9 real quick.
Yes, sir. Now we get some understanding. That's what I'm talking about.
1 Corinthians chapter 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. And let's pick it up at 22. 9 and 22. Go ahead.
To the weak became I as weak,
Mm-hmm.
that I might gain the weak.
So look at how Paul got. You know what I mean? Like Paul was getting on everybody's level just to convert everybody, right? So he's saying to the weak I became weak, that I might gain the weak. What else it says?
I am made all things to all men.
Go ahead.
That I might by all means save some.
Keep reading.
And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you.
Go ahead.
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all?
So you run all, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't just, get halfway in the race and you quit. Nah, you're going to run it all the way out. This talking about the gospel.
Right.
You're going to get in the race, or you're going to try to keep this salvation all the way to the end when the going get tough. You ain't going to give up. Keep going, though.
But one receiveth the prize.
Keep reading.
So run that ye may obtain.
Keep going.
And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things.
Go ahead.
Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
So they running, because they trying to obtain a corruptible crown. That's why he said in the beginning of 25, and every man that strive for the mastery is temperate in all things. Because, they ain't really doing it for the prize. They doing it just to receive a corruptible crown. Mm-hmm. But keep going, though.
But we an incorruptible.
Go ahead.
I therefore so run, not as uncertainly.
Go ahead.
So fight I.
Go ahead.
Not as one that beateth the air.
So not as one that, beating the air like, Nate always used the example of old boy for Boys in the Hood. Mm-hmm. When he came in the house and he got tried by the cops and he just swinging. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, nah, we not doing it for that case.
Right.
That's one that beat up his chest.
Right.
Like, nah, that's the one that would be looking for a corruptible crown. Mm-hmm. Right? Keep going, though.
But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection.
Go ahead.
Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway.
So I myself can be a castaway. you know, it's kind of like when I'm preaching, I got to make sure I keep myself in subjection because if not, I could fall victim and become a castaway just as others can. But that ain't really, you know, go all the way with that. Now when I'm thinking about it, but it's really just looking at the fact that, you know, you being the last, man, I can't even articulate it, bro. I'm telling you.
That's what I'm trying to do in my mind. I'm like, okay, how can I articulate this to, you know, make sense? And my, you know, according to scripture, I'm like, okay, does that mean, like, I understand the parable where the vineyard, it don't matter what time they came in, whether one worked 9 hours or 1 hour, they got the same pay. And that's what the man complaining about. So we've been all in this heat, and guess what? They're gonna get the same. We're gonna get the same amount they work about an hour. He said, "Well, didn't you agree to a penny? So that's what you agreed to. So I ain't do no wrong." So I mean, in my mind, how do I explain that, far as, you know, salvation or getting in the kingdom for our salvation is concerned? About like it don't matter when you come into this gospel, right? This is how I perceive it in my mind. It don't matter when you come into this gospel, whether it was 10 years ago or 1 year ago. If you sustain it to the end, you both will get the same reward, which is eternal life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's what it is.
So you got your answer?
I got to ask some more questions.
That's what we were saying about John the Baptist. Yeah, we were saying about John the Baptist.
That's some own darn question.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Yeah. But sometimes it's good to talk about it, bring it up, because I couldn't do that to save my life. It was always bothering me.
Right.
So I get it.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Okay.
Once I brought that parable back in my mind, okay, that's what it means for our salvation. No matter when you came in, whether it's 10 years of, like y'all came in at a young age, I say, boy, I wish I would have learned the truth back around y'all age 20.
But it don't matter.
I know it don't matter. Don't do it.
Because you got it now.
I got it now. So guess what? Your reward will be the same. Whether I was in the 30 years or 2 years, we're going to be after the same reward.
Right.
You'll be sustain this thing to the end.
So it's like the one that's first, he's going to be last.
You're right. Absolutely.
And it's kind of like a humbling state too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like a humbling sense because, you know, what I was going to go and read in James was pertaining to, you know, the person that you have respect to in the gay clothing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sit in the high seat.
You tell them to come sit in the high seat.
Yeah.
But in actuality, you know, it was talking about the individual. Like when you call to a gathering or something, don't just be quick to run and sit in the high seat.
You want to be asked to come up.
Right. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, you know.
And that is humbling, because you can't allow yourself to get puffed up, because a lot of people do. I've been in the verse at 1999. You can't tell me nothing.
So, and that's why, you know, hey, the first gonna be the last.
Yeah.
Because in the case with old boy, he arguing.
Yeah.
I've been there all doggone day, man. Guess what? You're gonna be last, because guess what? You did the same thing as the person who came in for an hour. He wasn't griping or complaining.
Yeah.
But yet you feel like you're supposed to receive some great reward.
Right.
But this is what you agreed to.
Absolutely.
So it's getting that to the point where, like, you know, people, you know, walking in this walk, they can get beside themselves.
They can now.
They can get beside themselves and feel as if, like, you know, one that just coming to the word, he just take off with the understanding.
Right.
And you feel like you've been here for 5, 6, 10 years and you ain't got no will to understanding he got, but you do know the basic thing. Keep the commandments, faith in Jesus, be charitable unto thy neighbor, such and such, such and such. Mm-hmm. Y'all gonna get the same common salvation.
Right, same thing.
So, you know,
God don't see you no better than he see me.
Right.
Because we all in that same covenant. We made the same agreement.
Let's go and look at some more.
Absolutely.
Acts real quick.
Yeah. This pretty good.
Acts chapter 11. No, 10.
10, okay.
Read 10 and 34 and 35.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Then Peter opened his mouth and said, of a truth,
go ahead,
I perceive that God is no respecter of persons.
Look at what he said in 35.
But in every nation, he that feareth him and worketh righteousness is accepted
You
with
see
him.
that? He
Exactly.
accepted with God. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
God ain't gonna respect me because I'm sitting here teaching and you reading.
Right.
Nah, we both doing the same thing.
Absolutely. Right.
Like, you know, just because I'm doing this and you reading, that don't make me no greater.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, shoot, me, it's kind of like what I'm doing and versus what, you know, the sisters doing. They so much in a safer situation than I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because me, I can allow the fact that I am standing up teaching get pumped up in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can fall victim to being puffed up.
Right.
Versus them, they just sitting still listening to the word.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't dealing with egos.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like me, I'm more in a vulnerable situation to go AWOL, you know, than just the individual who just sit here. So that's just letting you know is that, man, God respect those who gonna work righteousness.
Right.
So, you know, that's why he said, pertaining to charity, he said, hey man, knowledge cease.
You're right.
Tongues,
gonna
all
cease,
that,
all
all that
that.
stuff. What you need to be exercising is charity into thy brother.
Right.
So, you know,
You
man,
know, that bring me back to when I think the apostle had the question, who would be the greatest in the kingdom?
Yeah.
Same thing. Remember, can we go see that with us? I remember where it's at.
That's with
Yeah. Who would be the greatest in the kingdom? You know, and they be like, I wear that thing.
Oh, they sat down the baby. When they said he sat down his little
no,
baby.
that ain't what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about, it said John.
I think it's in. Is it in John?
I'm saying when he said John was the greatest prophet.
No, I ain't talking about that. And they was asking, I guess I don't know, the parents of one of the apostles were like, well, who gonna be the greatest among the apostles in the kingdom? And God told them about something. Where that thing at? Man. They asked that too. I remember that. That what made me think about when you said that right there. Mm-hmm. Where is that at?
But look at this though. Look at this Luke.
Okay.
Luke chapter 7.
Okay. Okay.
Yup. This is perfect right here.
Okay.
Read Luke 7:28.
For I say unto you, amongst those that are born of women, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist.
Go ahead.
But he that is least in the kingdom of God is greater than he.
You see that?
Wow. He said least in the kingdom.
Least. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like John in this case. John in this case would like somewhat be first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he not saying that John ain't getting in.
Right, yeah.
It's just that looking at his status or his level. The Bible said he was considered one of the greatest prophets.
Yeah.
Why? Because he the one that made straight the path for God.
Yeah.
But look at what Jesus said, man. You make it into the kingdom, you consider to be greater than John.
You say ain't lying.
Just because of the fact that you made it.
Yeah, you made it.
You made, hey man, all you gotta do to be in the kingdom holding the door. You know what I mean?
I still want to find that.
I got you.
I still want to find out what he said that. I swear. This is, and they were asking that, and they were like, and Jesus told him something. I forgot what he said. I think it might be in John. I don't know.
Oh, I don't get them that stuff. That ain't what you write on. You write on paper.
Let's see something.
Looking for it.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, I don't think that this might be it. I don't know.
That's good.
All right, well, meantime, we better go ahead and close out.
I about to close out. What, you had a question? How you look like that?
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth
Thy will be done in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us our
And
debts
forgive us our debt
as we forgive our
as
debtors.
we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory
forever.
forever.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.